uh, not passing and for the government shutdown, Republicans have such a stranglehold on every narrative everywhere. So it's hard for me to even say like who's going to get blamed for it. So maybe with this weak leadership, it's better to just like back up and let them do what they want to do, let them cook. But also that's really bad too. We still need new leadership regardless. But with the current leadership, I don't know if anything could be a win. Like Schumer and Jeffries are so freaking weak. I don't know if anything could be a win with them.
Stop Trump's unilateral tariffs. Congress has the right to approve or disapprove of unilateral tariffs. That authority was eliminated. There's $1 billion in cuts to domestic programs like education funding, Head Start, community health centers, whatever else. And we swallowed all of these bitter pills for nothing. Like in this negotiation, our position is you get to do all these things you want. You're going to get all this additional power. You get to get the cuts you want. In exchange, what you're going to give us is keeping the lights on in Donald Trump's government. So what happens 6 months from now? We're going to be in this exact same spot. And what is going to happen? The Republicans already know that there's almost no price we won't pay to keep the government open. So how are we going to win that fight?
Yeah, that's true. Because if you're gonna say if you're not gonna stop the budget right now, like Trump is literally threatening to do the Alien Enemies Insurrection Act or whatever it's called, the same act that was used, the 1798 Act. What was it called? Alien Enemies Act. It was used to do the insurrection camps, and usually it's used for unconstitutional, really bad things. It's meant for wartime, but funding the government is kind of like giving Trump the ability to impound funds and move funds around however he wants. And then like, are we funding this mass deportation, like terrorist program that's going to be ripping apart communities at that point? Are we funding unconstitutional acts? It's probably worth putting safeguards in place before we let that happen. I don't know how far along the road we're going to get until Democrats actually do take a stand. Because if they're not going to do it now when it's easy, I don't know how bad things need to get with like Trump's popularity. But again, if they cannot make the argument, everything might hurt them because they don't have the people, they don't have the leadership that they need to make the argument.
Had a little leverage here, not a ton of leverage. We had a little leverage. We will have little to no leverage the next time because of the way Chuck Schumer handled this. The last thing I would say is this was a strategic
Alien Enemies Act.
Throughout the entire process,
Enemies
Senate
Act of
Democrats were simply
1798.
hoping that the House Republicans would be unable to get the votes to pass the funding bill, forcing them to the table with Democrats. That was a possibility, but it wasn't necessarily a probability, and so we were not prepared for this.
Yeah, you can still call. I'm taking a little break from talking, though. I'm watching this video for 5 minutes and going to the bathroom quick. Then I'll take calls again. Give me 1 second. I just started the short stream, though. I'll be right back. One second.
At no point do we articulate what we would want in a shutdown. And most alarmingly, it appears from the reporting that the Democrats were publicly saying they wanted to fight, but privately wishing a fight wouldn't happen. And so they raised expectations with the base that they would have a fight, and they pulled the rug out from underneath them at the last minute. This really is, to me, this is a pattern we've seen before, which is the party leadership in the party is unwilling to reckon with tough decisions and hard conversations. It is a completely legitimate position. It's not my position, but it's a legitimate position to decide that you do not want to shut down the government in this situation, that it could be stayed shut down for 6 months or 9 months or a year, like Senator Schumer suggested in his public comments. Like, that's a legitimate position because real people get hurt in a government shutdown. This isn't fantasy football. It is a real thing. But if that is your position, tell people that at the outset. Don't pretend like you want to have a fight up until the moment the fight happens. Because then you raise expectations, you further inflame the base, you disappoint people, and you send the wrong message.
Okay, you can call now. Now a big thing here that we might get out of this scenario is, yeah, you're done with Pod Save. Well, they're all really rich liberals from like Boston and New York and California, right? And they didn't they own like Cybertrucks and stuff? They're not the most like, I don't know, bro. In shambles. In shambles, bro. We have TYT and we have former Republicans, basically. Here, I'll call you.
Shit, nigga, what's happening, Jay? Hello?
Hi.
Jay, don't sound like that, man. Like, I see your face, man. Don't be like that, nigga, because I'm being see what's happening. Look, Jay. I got two things to say. I got a few things to say. Look. For one, just to help the cast though, look, cause I be on the motherfucking chat fucking niggas up, bro. And I know I'm talking real bad and I'm horrible and shit, but I know my motherfucking piece, bro, and I know my history. You need to talk to this nigga named David, bro. His name is David, right? In New York, he goes to all the So you went to the protest. Remember we were talking about yesterday about how, like, you know, they illegally locked some dude up, nigga, because Trump didn't like how he was talking bad about Palestinians.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who goes to the protest. I don't even know if you live in New York, but they on the Trump side. I go in their little chat too. They be wilding and shit, bro. But like, they don't. Y'all need to talk, man, my G. Like, cause look, cause he a black man, I'm a black man too. But he a black man who kind of support Trump, man. And we are not a monolith, apparently. Also, y'all, my bad, I'm faded, as you can tell. But I'm like a white man. I have nothing to talk to you, but I actually agree with you're saying. I came to tell you that you need to talk to David. I'm gonna drop him in the chat. And I'm gonna tell you guys about each other. What you need to do is it'll get you so much more views, more money. I'm gonna hook you up. He's gonna go to these protests. I just saw the protest that they did for your man, and it was kind of a big protest, man. And they were out there, and there's a lot of people watching the protest. I'm talking a lot of shit to Trump supporters, but it is what it is. I guess it's the last thing. Oh, yo, to the chat, yo. Hey, yo, fuck anybody in the chat who got problems, nigga. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I'm about whatever. Yo, fuck everybody, nigga. Yo, fuck Chuck Schumer for bitching up, nigga. I'm about AOC. I voted for Elizabeth Warren, nigga. That's everything that I'm about, bro. I don't care about nobody, nigga. Look. Only thing I give a fuck about is the Constitution, dog. Yeah, I know. Wait. I'm fucking it all up, right? You recording this right now, Jay? Wait, I'm just in this motherfucker. Wait, slow it down before they start calling me racist and shit. All right, look. Ask me a question, Jay. Come on, because I'm a respectable dude. Come on, let's get this back to like some serious, like a white man would. Ask me a question, Jay.
I can't do it.
Wait, because I'm smoking weed. Look. Don't even worry about it. Look. There's this blonde bomber chick, right, who I was seeing.
Call from Coning Board.
Hello.
Hi there.
What's up, man? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Oh, not bad. I'll try to keep it short because I'm in Canada and I don't think I have long distance calling, so it's probably costing a shit ton, unless this is like an internet number or something.
Yeah, it's the internet. It's a fake number, yeah.
So I wouldn't get charged long distance then?
I have no clue.
Oh, well, maybe I'll keep it under 10 minutes. Okay. Well, you're clearly a smart guy. I'd kind of almost liken you to somebody like Destiny or something. You're clearly a high IQ guy. We probably just disagree on stuff more, maybe ideologically and stuff. So I guess my first question, I haven't watched too much. So the claim at the top is, I think Trump is terrible, or what was it?
Trump bad.
Trump bad, okay.
Basically.
Okay, so, I mean, do you think he's a bad person, personally?
Yeah, everything he's done in his entire life, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Could you maybe elaborate why, like, you think he's... I mean, I could name examples, too, but maybe just one or two quick examples of why you think he's not a good person, just on, like, a personal level. I'm just curious.
Well, he is a serial cheater on pregnant wives. He indulged in the worst form of gluttony you possibly can. He jokes about building casinos and strip clubs in the Holy Land after ethnically cleansing Palestinians. I don't even know if he's joking, but building gold statues in the Holy Land, that's blasphemy. What's that?
What was the gluttony thing? Sorry?
Yeah, he only cares about the aesthetic of wealth. So, like, in the Bible, when they talk about wealth, they talk about the love of money, conservatives usually say, but Trump isn't even as rich as he said he is. He just lies about it. He lies about how rich he is, and then he loves money above humans. So he's the most antithetical thing to Christianity that I could imagine. Like, if you wanted to be a person and deny Christianity, I'd be Trump.
Okay. He's definitely vain, and he's definitely an embellisher, for sure. And he kind of always has been, right? Like, when we were growing up watching The Apprentice and stuff, I mean, he was always, everything had to be the best. Everything was the biggest and the best. I get it.
Manipulator.
Do you-
He hates people that don't like him just because they don't like him. He wants to ban freedom of speech. If he could, he would. He would ban all dissent if he could. He pardoned all the January 6 people that beat up cops. He made fun of John McCain for being a prisoner of war.
Right. Okay. So, do you really think he would ban free speech if he could?
Yeah, 100%. Everything he's ever said about free speech and about the press, he would definitely ban it. Just today, he went on a rant at the DOJ. There was some type of like assembly or something, and he ranted about how MSNBC and CNN should be illegal. It should be illegal to talk about him in a negative light. He says that very often. He also speaks very positively of Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin, and he talks about how much he loves how they rule over their people with an iron fist, and he wishes he had the same kind of power here.
Right. And again, the guy he says things for sure. And again, I'm Canadian.
Too.
I don't really have much stock in the game, but I get the impression more that he genuinely does want what's best for America. I believe that he genuinely does want that. Do you not think he genuinely wants what's best for America?
No, not in any way at all. He wants what's best for his vanity, for his fame, for his notoriety. He wants to be a king. He wants to be viewed as powerful. I don't even think he cares about his own power.
Do you really?
I think he cares more about being viewed as powerful. Yeah, everything about his entire life goes to that point. Yeah, that's how he is. Yeah, that's him as a person.
He definitely is like that. Yeah.
Has Trump ever said anything about like coming together, like with people? Has he ever talked about like how we can help our neighbors or how we can help the poor? Has he ever talked about the poor or working class people in a real way that's like understanding of them?
Well, I would say that, I mean, again, any politician, they're going to say what they think people want to hear. But I mean, I listened to quite a few speeches of his during his campaign and whatnot, and it does seem like the working class people that you say he doesn't give a shit about, or can I cuss on here or no?
Yeah, that one's fine.
I mean, I'll keep it PG. It seems like they all like him. Like,
yeah, for social issues, yeah. And he lies to them.
What am I missing that they all like him, but people on the left think that that he hates those people, but those actual people like him? So like,
he talks a good game. Democrats don't. If you take like people's names off of the policies and just like ask people which policies do you like more, Democrats win 9 times out of 10. But Republicans it's the social issue. So like being anti-woke, anti-pronouns, anti-civil rights movement, that kind of stuff is really popular for working class people that are not super
civil rights, or is it just the pendulum swinging the other way, kind of balancing itself out?
They are mad about civil rights. They are mad about that. They just don't know it. Like they would have been protesting MLK. The same people that are protesting DEI right now, they would have been protesting MLK on the same grounds, 100%.
Okay. Do you think Trump is a racist?
I don't think his supporters are all racist, but he 100% is. He 100% is. Yeah, 100%. And the truest definition of the word.
Okay. So, I mean, you can take...
I've seen people as inferior to him. Yeah, he's a supremacist in general.
Maybe. And
he doesn't like hate black people where he can't sit next to them, but that's the difference between like someone who's racist versus like a supremacist. You could be a supremacist and have black friends, but a really racist person can't. But you could think you're supreme, you have better genetics, all that kind of stuff, and still be friends with Snoop Dogg and Oprah.
Maybe the one thing I would say, and again, this is probably a cursory understanding of things. I try to be, know what I don't know is important too. I don't see him as a racist because to kind of counter what you just said. And again, I'm not a huge Trump supporter. I don't mind the guy. I don't live in America. It doesn't really matter to me. But I remember growing up watching, and again, you could be a racist and pretend to put black people in places of opportunity and supporting them and whatnot. And you could just be doing that just for visuals, right? For optics. But I remember growing up watching The Apprentice, and there was this lady on there named Omarosa who won the whole thing, and she was like his right-hand lady for, I don't know, probably a decade. And do you remember Omarosa?
1 second. Yeah, I just said that though. I don't care if you're friends with black people. You can be friends with black people and still have a supremacist viewpoint where you think your genes are better, or you think you are better than people because you have money,
Okay,
or
so
you can think that like,
he's racist.
for example, when
he's
I know he is when he says things like you could tell they're criminals just by looking at him, or when he says to Chuck Schumer, "You're not a real Jew. You're actually a Palestinian," as a slur, like you're a Palestinian. You're disgusting. When he says so calmly about ethically cleansing Palestinians out of Gaza and building casinos there, like that's the most pure form of it's not hatred, it's not even bias. Trump just views himself as supreme. That's why he loves all the dictators, and he thinks he's their friends because he wants to be like a supreme ruler and be viewed as like a god.
Let me discern the two then. So you're saying he's not a racist, he's a supremacist.
It's complicated. I don't want to use any of these words, honestly, because
a racist couldn't have black friends and be.
It depends what kind of
black...
racist. Actually, you can. It depends what kind of racist, though. It really depends what kind. Because, like, you could be down south racist where you're like, hey, I'm going to spit on someone if you're next to me. Or you could just be, like, modern racist where it's more covert. But I don't like using any of these words because the people that are watching don't understand any of it at all. So they're going to take it out of context and make me look bad.
No,
so I'd rather just say not. I would rather not say that he's I would not say that he's a racist. I would just point out the actions that he's done and the things he's done that are really bad for people of color, and why people that I know, like why brown people I know are carrying their birth certificates with them now, because of what he's doing with ICE, and ICE is taking American citizens, detaining them left and right by accident, but like they're scared now because they are being targeted more. Well, that's when Trump says I could tell you're a criminal just by looking at you. That's like, in my opinion, that's one of the most racist things you could possibly say. When you say like that person's a thug, I'd rather you just say the N-word if you're gonna call someone a thug or a DEI hire.
Now, are we talking, well, I mean, I guess
Haitians eating cats and dogs. Yeah, Epoch. They're eating cats and dogs, they're savages. Like, yeah, bro, they're poisoning the blood of America.
Right. Well, I mean,
a non-racist person does not say that.
I don't know if it's a race thing because it's like
it is. It's part of it.
If it was only white,
it's a big part of it.
If it was only white, let's in some theoretical world, all the Haitian migrants were white, and let's say in this alternate universe they were eating cats and dogs. Would he be racist if he
I don't think Trump cares himself. I think Trump knows the American people get scared when they look at like brown people, so he shares ads saying there's scary brown people in your community and they're invading your suburbs, and he uses that fear. I don't think Trump personally cares about anything but his own power. So I really don't think he cares. He might have views that are like dumb and old, but his fan base definitely does view like DEI. If you think DEI is racist, for example, you probably have pretty bad views about race if you think DEI is racist, because DEI was instituted during the civil rights movement. And if you're anti-DEI now, which is different from like affirmative action, but if you're anti-DEI now to the point where you want to ban it, because Trump is banning it, Trump is, with executive order, he has taken protections away from people, civil rights protections that were instituted in the 60s during the civil rights movement. He's removed them. So like these same people that hate DEI now would have also been anti-MLK for sure.
Okay, fair enough. I'm asking you because I don't know. Could you name some, like even just one right that he took away that they did have during the civil rights movement in the 60s?
So they instituted like equal opportunity employment, for example. Trump had an executive order that removed that from federal workers, so they didn't have to worry about like bias in hiring at all.
I think he's a little bit ignorant, and I think he's overcompensating.
I know federal workers as well. You cannot say the word race or gender or diversity or DEI or you get fired. Like they are language policing in federal agencies. If you say anything that sounds woke, quote unquote, which woke ideology sounds a lot like Hitler's cultural Bolshevism. The way they're saying it's infiltrated society, it's a plague, it's a disease that's spreading. When they say that, it's insane.
It definitely does. I mean, I would see it as fact that, and I don't want to jump around too much.
Well, you can say Hitler had some good points. That's a fine position to have. You can say he went too far with it, but it still shares ideologies.
No, that's
really
not what. No,
that's not. No. I know. I'm busting your balls. I know. I'm just. You can say Hitler had some good ideas. I get.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go there, but there was 20 years of him politicking before the bad stuff happened.
True. There were.
Everybody
Hitler just loved Germany, right? The people on Joe Rogan right now. Joe Rogan's having Holocaust deniers on who say that Hitler was never a bad guy. He just really loved his country.
No, he was definitely a bad guy.
No, but that's what they view him. If you watch Hitler speeches,
no, see,
I hate saying this publicly because the Gestapo is going to come after me. But like Hitler speeches and Trump speeches are one for one. Like they literally say the same words, like unironically.
Nah, neither of us are that.
Bro, I'm going to pull up an English transcript of a Hitler speech. 1 second.
Let me. It's pretty crazy. Let's do it. Yeah. Well, no. What I was going to say about the woke thing is that you're saying what I think and kind of how I see it as a fact is it's the pendulum swinging so far the other way. But what I see as a fact is that there is some. It's not a 0% of a social contagion that has kind of made. They're turning the frogs gay or whatever. Like there's more gay kids and LGBTQ kids than there's ever been before. And maybe it's because maybe it's always been that way and they just feel more safe to come out now. But I do feel that it's not 0% of kids that are pressured in socially or want to be accepted and do it, to say they're trans or whatever when they're actually not, or they don't actually have gender dysphoria. There is somewhat of a social contagion. So I think people, it's swinging so far back the other way because maybe a lot of the Trump supporters are, your typical one, especially if you're in Canada and you just ask somebody what their typical Trump supporter was, it would be your hick down in Arkansas who didn't graduate high school. And, those people, I think, are those aren't to me what I see as like real Trump supporters or like the guy for other reasons. But would you agree that there is somewhat of a social contagion, and that's maybe why they're pushing back so hard against it, because they feel like if this continues, they don't want to send their kids to public school or else their kids are going to inevitably end up gay?
Well, if you believe your kid's going to turn gay because there's people talking about gay people, then you already do have a mindset that's completely irrational. And you believe
Maybe
really
not
negative things about these groups. But like if they
maybe
believe
not
those things, they have bias because it's just like not true at all. They don't have experience around these different groups. And talking about like pronouns and I don't know, diversity trainings, those are you could say they're taken to an extreme extent on like in private companies or nonprofits or on college campuses for like a very, very small minority of people. But Trump's his full free speech crackdown right now, attacking anyone that even talks about DEI or diversity in general as a concept, is extremely authoritarian. And people with wokeism just get offended and emotional about it. That's why they think it's a social contagion. But social contagion, talking about wokeism as a social contagion.
I agree with you.
Those are the words of no, but like saying it's a social contagion or a disease is literally just Hitler talk. It's just Hitler talk. Like it's not a disease. It's not spreading. It's just like people. They're pushing for too much change too quick, and Americans got really scared of it. And globally, this is happening as well.
I do really believe ideas can spread, and I do believe that when you're dealing with children, they're very influenceable, or whatever the word would be. It's like if you told, and again, I don't think this is that important of an issue, but I think that parents would have some right in feeling like there are pressures within schools that, it's like you don't feed into a kid's illusion. I don't have any kids, but if I had a 5-year-old, I have friends with kids. If I had a 5-year-old boy and said, I'm a girl, I wouldn't affirm that because he's a kid and he's stupid. So it's like, don't you think there's some part of there's some social aspect to where kids almost think it's almost a trend?
I think this is a big disconnect. Okay, so kids do awkward things for sure, but we're talking about an authoritarian government cracking down on the freedom of on people's freedoms because people are afraid of gay people and trans people. So like you can say like, okay, well, a kid that's 5 years old doesn't know if they're gay or trans. That's probably true, yeah. But having an authoritarian crackdown and talking about and saying saying that gay people are all child abusers, for example, or trans people are child abusers is super damaging, obviously, and can cause.
Who said that? because obviously that's wrong.
Okay, so like for
but-
example, when Trump says that your kid goes to school and gets a sex change surgery and comes back as a girl the next day, and you know he
Yeah.
said that a million times, people really believe that. And if you believe crazy shit like that, then eventually it turns into violence against groups like that
right,
are
but
minority
do you
groups.
believe that?
If you let it grow too much.
Right, I agree. But do you really believe that Trump believes that, or is he just being Trump and just being bombastic and ridiculous?
It doesn't matter about being bombastic, okay? He's an adult human being. I hate when people give
Right,
him
I
a free
get it.
pass like he's a toddler. He's a
No, I'm
president.
not
He
even
can't both
saying-
be
I'm
like a
not even saying
dumbass
give him-
who can't control what he says and also the best leader in American history. You cannot be both things.
Right, I get it. No, I get it, and I don't disagree. He does say absurd stuff sometimes. It makes it hard. It's like so many of the things I'm like, bro, like why do you even say that? Like you make it
Because he's a
hard.
bad and dumb person. He's a bad and dumb person who just wants power. He does not want the best for Americans. But people delude themselves because they like what he says about social issues because they hate wokeism. They hate DEI. They probably have biases towards against gay people or trans people. That's why people make free passes for him because he's their identity. So they give him free passes. He is genuinely a dumb person who wants power. He's good at messaging, good at marketing. That's all he is. He is that's what he is.
How
Sometimes things are
like,
just what they. If it quacks like a duck, it shits like a duck. It might be a duck. I don't know.
I get it. No, I don't even necessarily disagree. The one thing I would say is
How can Trump sound so stupid? This guy is unbelievably stupid. He is such a dumbass when he talks. How does he talk so dumb? And he's also our supreme leader. You know, I also ask that question very
do
often.
you think that I'm 80, right? Do you think that
He's always talked like this, though.
No, I get. No, I'm actually just asking you. It's not even a rhetorical question. Do you think maybe 20 years ago he was sharper? Do you think he's mentally declining?
Oh, he was a
versus when
lot
was?
sharper in 2016, but he still said the same shit, just like a little bit more believable in 2016. Like he's definitely like he's just as bad as Biden was, 100%. He just doesn't say anything complicated.
When I see videos of him from like 2016 versus now, it's like you don't notice it because you see him all the time. But like he's definitely fucking.
Yeah, big
he's
difference.
definitely aged. He looks.
If
old.
anyone says like Biden is senile but Trump, or like Biden's too old but Trump isn't, I feel like you're biased, or like vice versa. They're both way too old,
I don't
and
think
Trump
that
is
it's the
definitely slowed
age.
down.
I don't think it's the number, but I mean.
Well, the
don't-
number doesn't matter, but the health does. Like
Yeah.
I would say Bernie Sanders is speaking fine still, and he's like 83. He's the oldest out of all three of them, but he's still the most healthy. Or like Reagan survived till 93. Jimmy Carter was like 90 something. So
Right.
yeah,
I think it was 99.
health matters more than age. That's why I'm against age limits too, because health matters
Yeah.
more, and voters should be able to pick if someone's not able to do their job or not. But
I agree. And again, there's no point in even comparing. But I think everybody would admit that if you took Biden when he left office and Trump now, obviously Trump has his mental faculties are with him more than Biden, right? We could agree on that.
no, I mean
I
Biden
was
was
a
there
Biden
mentally,
supporter-
but Trump could talk better. But Trump also says like two things. He talks at a first grade reading level, and Biden tried making like bigger points. But Biden was definitely still there mentally. He just was too tired and confused when he had to be on camera for 12 hours a day. But like they're both gone when it comes to being president.
I don't think you believe that Biden was mentally
Yeah,
there
yeah,
at
because
all.
when Biden was speaking, he would like stutter, but he was saying things that actually were kind of complicated. They made actual sense. Like when your entire thing is like if you ask Trump a tough question, he says, "How dare you ask such an unfair question? Everything's so unfair to me. What I'm gonna do is make America great again. Amazing." And then you ask Biden a question. He's like, "Well, we're gonna make sure we do the intricate analysis for the Inflation Reduction Act to particularly target the prices of Medicare and to target we're gonna kill we're gonna kill Medicare." It's like Biden's going into actual nuance and policy. Trump does not say anything except the four words over and over and over and over again. So you can hide it when you're Trump. You can hide it and disguise it better because Trump never has to do a complicated thought. Trump has not said one complicated thought since he ran for president. In 2015, 2016, he made some arguments. 2017 made some arguments that sounded cogent. But Trump doesn't say anything that makes me think he's mentally there. Biden made much more complicated points than Trump did, but Biden just could not present himself as as good. And it makes sense. Like he's old, he's tired.
But
It makes a lot of sense.
He made more complicated points that he just couldn't get them out. Is that kind of the point you're making?
Yeah, that's why Biden would stop himself when he's like, if Trump's bullshitting, he can just be like, "I hate everyone, I'm amazing." But Biden would say he would stop himself and okay, wait a second, I have to remember this. But Trump just never has to remember anything. Like Trump can literally he's playing life on easy mode. Like he can
I
win
know,
he
and
could
I
win a
do-
debate by saying you're stupid. Your social credit score is now downvoted. It's like it's easy for it's so
Right.
easy. I
I-
wish I
I
could debate
do-
like Trump debates. Holy shit, it'd be so nice.
Yeah,
Have
Trump
you ever considered
definitely.
that you're stupid? Have you ever considered that you're a dumbass? Like seriously, I can't even do it. Fuck.
I think Trump is definitely a caricature of a person, but I think your kind of image of him is like ultra caricature. I think he's a little more down to earth, a little more, and I'm not saying
Bro,
he's down.
we cannot cite one thing he says without you saying, well, he does say crazy things because he doesn't say anything. Okay, name one thing he
Right,
said
but-
since becoming president that makes sense. Like one example.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Do you have like an example of something he said so far that makes like a logical sense?
Well, I think a lot of, and I don't even know if it's just people bringing him executive orders or he's the one, because it just seems a lot like, oh, here's an executive order, and he goes, oh, that's a good one, and then signs it, right? But I mean,
he really doesn't know what the hell he's signing. He's like, which one is this? He's like, sir, this is us leaving the WHO. He's like, oh, cool. And he's like, signs it and throws it to the side.
I mean, okay, not politically at all. You obviously listen to him with Joe Rogan and stuff, right? You all listen to the podcast.
Joe
Hello?
Rogan. Joe Rogan is a stain on humanity.
No, okay. I'm just asking you a question. Did you or did you not listen to the Joe Rogan and Trump podcast?
Yeah, Trump said nothing for 3 hours. It's actually insane. Like Joe Rogan asked him
man.
about the election over and over and over again. Trump did not answer directly about the election once. Joe Rogan was begging for an answer,
brother,
but
you
Trump would not answer about the election.
Brother, you asked me a question. I was just trying to answer. So I'm just getting some prerequisite answers from you. So you listen, and I was going to say something that wasn't politically at all. I liked when they can talk about mixed martial arts and stuff. I'm a big MMA fan. I like mixed martial arts. And he was talking and asking about Khabib and asking about all the fighters and stuff. So, I mean, if you ask me what's something that he said that I liked that he could sit with Joe Rogan and talk about something that I enjoy watching. I'm assuming you watch
Oh my
UFC.
god, bro! It's just funny because everyone's just a fan of Trump. They're just a fan of him. He's a terrible president. He's stupid. If you bring up anything Trump actually says about policy or politics, it's like, he's actually a dumb toddler. You can't take anything he says seriously. Then it's like, why do you like Trump? Oh, I saw him talk about UFC once. It's literally just fanboy culture.
Is that what you're saying to me, brother? I was
Yes.
asking you. You asked me a question. I was trying to come at it from a different.
What is
angle.
one thing he said in government as president in his second term so far that made logical sense?
Okay, first of all, I'm Canadian, so relax.
You're right. Why am I talking to you? You're not even a real
'cause
person. You're gonna be an American soon. Good luck.
I would actually like it, because then I could move somewhere fucking warmer.
Well,
I've been
I want to move to Canada for the healthcare.
Really? Okay, trade me.
I will trade you. I will do
I've
that.
got your-
I
you
will
got my
trade you.
number.
I will
Hey,
take that offer.
You know what? You sponsored. We'll swap passports. I would do that in a heartbeat. You wait until it's -30 Fahrenheit here, and then we'll see if you want to live in Canada. But
I can deal with it, bro. I can deal with it. I'll take the healthcare, bro. I'll take the guaranteed healthcare, even if it takes a long
I
time.
make enough money that I don't need healthcare. I pay my own medical bills. But anyway.
Why do I care then? If you make I hung up on him. Someone else call in. Because if he has enough money to pay for his own medical bills, I just know he's a rich asshole. Like, okay, cool. You're not a American. You're not a real working class person. You make a bunch of money. Have fun. Good job.
Call from Seguin.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
All right. I just wanted to get your thoughts on immigration as it stands.
Immigration. Every undocumented person in America that has overstayed a visa, I would give them a path to citizenship and fix the immigration system. I'd focus every single one of our resources on violent crime and illegal immigration. I would not send one penny of my taxpayer dollars to go disrupt families in America who are just working. Yeah, so that's my view on immigration. I think Trump right now is doing an authoritarian crackdown. People I know are scared and having to carry their birth certificates because so many American citizens have been detained because ICE is going for ESPN stats when they're deporting people. And I just want a more, a more humane, a more effective plan for immigration. And yeah.
Do you think when people say illegal aliens, it's a way to dehumanize them?
100%. The only reason they say alien is to dehumanize. You could literally just say illegal immigrant. You don't need to say alien.
Right, right.
There's no place where you need to call a human being an animal or an alien or a vermin like Trump does.
Well, now I heard your kind of sympathetic view on the matter. I think you know about the economical stance on it as well, right? Like you're probably saying that it would cost more to take them out. And
Well, the empathetic viewpoint would be like illegal immigration. The empathetic viewpoint would be like literal open borders, which no Democrat or anyone has ever been for in America. So like
Right.
my position is still going to have a lot of, it's still going to be a strong border, as they say, or it's still going to involve deportations. Just like, Biden did, Obama did, every president has done. But I definitely have some humanity in my policies, and I think Trump lacks all humanity for sure.
I have another question then. So when you see Republicans talk about like laws and everything else, and you see the disregarding the current GOP when it comes to almost a lot of regulations, as far as like money that already has been allocated to Congress not being used in the way it's already been deemed necessary. What would you say to Republicans when they talk about, but they broke the law, they're criminals, and this and that? How would you have an argument for that, as well as, if I can add on, to people saying, if even one illegal immigrant comes over here, and they murder or rape or have any sexual assault allegations, it doesn't matter. It's one too many. So what would you say to those people?
I would say that if you want a world with zero violence or zero crime, then you're looking for a utopia. American citizens commit crime at a higher rate than immigrants do. It doesn't really change it if it's an immigrant doing the crime or if it's someone who is an American citizen. It's still a crime. In fact, immigrants usually make communities safer in the vast majority of cases. So just using that as an emotional appeal meant to demonize all immigrants because they want people to think all immigrants are like violent and illegal immigrants. And they call every immigrant illegal when in reality, if you're looking for asylum, even if you cross the border through a non-legal port of entry or a port of entry, it is technical asylum seeking. You still have a day in court for that, but they call every person in America who's an undocumented person illegal. Even the Haitian immigrants here on protective status, Trump called illegal and never
Right,
backed down
and
from it. So they want everyone to think that they're all illegals who are violent aliens. So that's
even
that's the goal.
Venezuela and the Cubans that came over here with the permits, they're removing those, and then now they're calling them illegal, even though they originally came here with said like permission.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I'm anti-crime for sure, but if we're going to be focusing on demonizing all immigrants, we're actually spending resources cracking down on people who are just like family people who are just like working for a living and contributing to our communities when we should be devoting all those resources to crime. So honestly, demonizing all immigrants actually is in favor of helping criminals because you're spending money deporting just like families. Like there's a 10-year-old girl who's an American citizen. Her parents are undocumented. She has brain cancer, and we spent our tax dollars deporting her when both of her parents worked hard for a living, and they were beneficial to American communities. I think that's one of the dumbest deportations you could possibly do.
And I have another question for you then. I know said person that says this, and I don't know how to combat this argument because at the end of the day, as Americans, you do have the right to say, I don't want said people in my country. Not because I think it's right or fair, but because it's just the basic law and principle that you have as an American a say who comes in your country.
As an American or like as a American system?
No, as an American, the system itself, like I think even
I
the
cannot
whole
determine who
ideology
comes
for-
into the country by myself. It needs to be like a combination of laws and stuff, right?
No, well, of course, I'm not saying people should confirm or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that people have the right to say, I don't want said people coming in because of just the basic principle that they're from here. Do you think they have a right to do that? Like if the large majority
New
of the
donation from
population
Jeff.
in a country says, I don't want said people to
$245
come over
support
here,
independent
whether it's
media.
right or wrong, would you say that? How would you have an argument against that? I know.
I'm sorry.
but it
No,
sounds like-
I'm sorry. I just realized I have to stay here for 10 hours because
Oh, okay.
Jeff just donated $245, dude.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm back.
Do you need me to repeat
No, Jeff
what
said
I
I don't need to
was
stay up. He didn't. I was being dramatic. I don't think Jeff would actually make me stay up 10 hours. Jeff would not do that to me. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff's insane, bro. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Sorry,
W,
you can
Jeff.
go.
No, I was only saying because I don't know. I haven't been able to form an argument against just the basic fact that if a large majority of a population, or even a chunk of a population, says that they don't want a certain type of nationality or even ethnicity to come in the country, is it wrong? Yes. Is it immoral? Sure. Is it not feasible? Sure. But do they have the right to say and to not want to advocate for that? Do you have an argument for that?
I think if they want to change like our laws, then we need to do it through like those means, of course. And
Legislation?
like yeah. I mean, for our asylum laws, people get mad about like if you're in America, you could seek asylum, even if you did not cross through a legal port of entry. But it's like, hey, that's the law, bro. If you want to change the law, you got to change the law. You can't just keep
Right.
complaining about it. Or like I hate it when they call. I saw a video of like AOC talking about the legal system in the U.S. and she said how like she talked about these laws. And Republicans are just showing their true colors, where they don't care about the laws of this country. They don't care about the laws and regulations. They just say,
Right.
"Oh, I don't like this immigrant, therefore it's illegal." Or like that person they detained,
Right.
the Palestinian, or the pro-Palestine protester that they detained over un-American
That they
speech.
deported.
Un-American speech, bro. Un-American speech. Like that is the biggest authoritarian crackdown on the
Well,
First
there is
Amendment I've seen in
precedent.
my lifetime.
Well, there is precedent for persecuting people for their just the right to say things. If we go back to the war against communism, I'm pretty sure they persecuted a bunch of Hollywood stars because of the fact that they might
Yeah,
have been saying
McCarthyism was really bad though. That's McCarthyism. So
Yeah,
it
you're
is
right.
McCarthyism for sure. But the
there is a
precedent,
precedent for
like
it.
there is precedent for insurrection camps in the U.S. as well, which is the
That- you're right.
Alien Enemies Act that Trump wants to
Completely right.
use. So we're going back to the Alien Enemies Act,
Well,
internment camps,
he is-
and yeah.
He is advocating for that. He is advocating for certain detention like camps and
Yeah, I know.
working-
I think it should be. It is. I mean, even Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay is probably unconstitutional, but our legal system is going so sideways. But like someone just said, you can't be here and be a terrorist. The person they detained, definitely an activist. Definitely like was part of the encampments and civil disobedience. But saying that's a terrorist or someone who's associated with a terrorist organization, there is no substantial evidence about that at all. The closest thing
Right.
they could find is someone he knew posting a comment on Instagram. Not even his own Instagram, by the way. Which, if he did post something about Western civilization being wanting to make it collapse, that would still be protected. That would still should be protected. We have Nazis in the street; they should be protected too under our First Amendment. But yeah, they just want to say, I don't like this person, therefore it's illegal. Or like Trump today. Trump today just said MSNBC and CNN should be banned because they said something mean about me. They are light on Trump. CNN is making an effort to have pro-Trump commentators on there every single day. Fox News does not do that at all. But Trump is saying they should be illegal because he doesn't like them.
Well,
So like,
CNN
Republicans
wants to
really do
retain
not
their
care about the law
position
in
the White
America.
House.
What's that,
The only
sir?
reason CNN advocates like slightly for Trump is because they don't want to be completely banned from the White House press at all. They
And
know.
also they're not really against his policies very much, like they aren't like super
You're right.
against his like tax cut. They're getting tax cuts from his policies. They benefit from it. They don't care about the freaking system going to shit. They really don't care. They have no reason to care that much.
Do you think there could be any wake up call that Trump can do to the rest of America that hasn't woken up yet with all these things that he's done in office, like this new bill that he passed where they're cutting things not from Medicaid directly, but from the Department for Medicaid, as well as like food stamps. I forgot the name of the department, but they're just addressing for those departments to cut down their funding, which in turn means they're going to cut down food stamps and Medicaid. It's just fancy lingo for them not doing that. Do
I
you
don't
think
know.
there's any good?
It's hard, man. Their goal is to privatize every government program, so it's
Right.
it's for profit. And
Well, they already privatized the,
Americans might not
mailing,
notice
right?
until it's too late. Americans might not notice what's happening right now until it's too late. It might take a massive strike or economic depression for this stuff to be reversed, because Americans are fully bought into the Kool-Aid.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I know you, even though you're gonna
And
have your
like,
long
and one
rant.
other thing, I appreciate the call as well, but like, it's very hard and difficult to argue with people who can lie about anything. Like, if you have the ability to
Right,
lie with a
right.
straight face and not care about it, like all of Trump's minions do, and how Trump does, it's hard to It's hard to win debates against Trump because he could just set up a new false reality to live in. So.
Well, I really actually, now that you said that, I want one more point because I've been trying to myself make, these just logical foundations for this argument in particular. When people tell me, my parents came here legally, so anybody who comes here is kind of spitting in the process and the effort that they had originally to come over here. How would you talk to that person, or kind of, have an argument for that?
See, that's really hard because anyone
Right.
making their argument is not doing it in good faith because, I mean,
They're not.
and most
They're
of the
not
people making
because-
the argument pretend to be Christians. They pretend to be Christians because it's not even a question. Like, it's one of those areas where it's like, oh God, if someone's a visa overstay, for example, and it's a civil infraction because they overstayed a visa, treating that person like kicking them out of the country just makes no logical sense. Why would we pay more tax dollars to send them somewhere else when they're
What about if they just come in here illegally, like completely? I just don't understand this
illegally is
xenophobic. Yeah, but even if they come over here illegally, like you said, I think
it's hard. It's a hard conversation. You know why? Because Democrats are tougher on the border than Republicans. They're tougher. They do more deportations than Republicans do. They're more effective at deportations. But people think that Republicans are more effective. Do you know why?
Because of Trump and his just
because he calls them killers, and he says racist things. People like it because of the racism Trump adds onto it, so it feels like he's doing something more. When Biden and Obama do it, they keep it quiet because they don't propagandize the racism. Yeah, no. So people love hearing, get them out of my country. They don't give a shit about the economics. They don't give a shit about their jobs. They just want to see a brown person deported, 100%.
And honestly, I don't understand how people have these arguments, and yet they voted for Trump, and now he put this new policy in place where you can pay a certain amount of money. I think it's $1 million, isn't it, for the gold card? Isn't that circumventing the process in and of itself?
Oh yeah, so that's a good point actually. Good. Thank you. Yeah, you can bypass the line if you're a rich asshole. Great. So yeah, so fairness is out the window. So like Jesus said, you are cut out of our country. We're gonna deport the kid with brain cancer, and you can only come back if you can pay me $5 million for the damn gold card. That's what Jesus Christ would have wanted. Jesus Christ would have loved that shit.
I remember there's this video on YouTube.
That kid with brain cancer. Screw that kid with brain cancer, bro. Screw him. We only want the rich. The rich. We want the rich, not the dumb poor kids. That's what Jesus said that, by the way. Yeah, sorry.
They asked the MAGA supporters, and that was quite funny. I'm not gonna lie. They asked MAGA supporters if they would let Trump in if he was illegal, and they said only if he came through with the right processes and came here legally. And the guy turns around to the camera and says, "You heard it here. We only want Jesus if he comes here legally." And it's just, I don't know, even Christians themselves, I think they're in constant contradiction. Because you look at Charlie Kirk, I would love to talk just straight to Charlie. I don't know him personally, but he seems just like a ball of mental gymnastics. Every time I hear him talk, he circumvents talking points, and he just like says a bunch of propaganda. He spits out 3 or 4 facts, and then that's what woos people, because he does like kind of ease in there with some facts, but ultimately he comes back around with the circular logic or just straight up propaganda that he likes to say. I don't know.
What's interesting as well? So like the focus on illegal immigration, just for historical context as well. So in the 19th century, I just looked up a little timeline, but at like the 1840s, 1850s, we had anti-Irish, anti-Catholic, nativism, 1880s, 1890s, anti-Chinese, and yellow peril rhetoric. Then eugenics and anti-Southern / Eastern European rhetoric. Then we had Japanese internment and anti-Asian rhetoric and a bunch of other issues with like during the Korean Wars and Vietnam and everything. And then illegal immigration became a focus once it became illegal to discriminate based on race. So it's like the war on drugs. How they said the war on drugs is like the response to the civil rights movement. The focus on illegal immigration only arose once it was illegal to discriminate based on race. And that's really interesting to pay attention to see the outcomes of what the framing is. And then after 9/11, Here's more data too. In 1960, 80% of immigrants were white Europeans. Now it's 17% of immigrants are white Europeans. So the rhetoric might have shifted because of that as well. And then after 9/11, obviously, then Muslims were looked at in a much more negative light after 9/11 in America, and it was already pretty bad. So you could even attribute, like, I never saw Trump show a graph of the immigrants are coming that had a white person or a white immigrant, and that I think that's
Right.
really telling as well.
Well, I don't know where this you could say what's the word, fusion of cultures comes into play, because there's a lot of people in the Republican Party that says we want to keep our culture, and I don't understand that, because ultimately the goal of society should be integrating everybody, where we have our different cultures, but we stay united, just in the sense of being as a human race itself, because ultimately we're our own enemy. There's nobody else competing with us. There's nothing else.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's
it's
just
the
these
common
barriers,
story,
right?
right? It's the common story where you separate the working people based on race, gender, skin color.
Right.
Well, I mean, that is race. But yeah, you separate people based on all these social topics, and then you make money for the rich. And I wish we would have taught about that more in school. I wish we were doing all this critical race training that they think we're doing in schools, because people would have a much better understanding. Even for white people, like, we would not have all these difficult conversations. It's just like even the conversations about like toxic masculinity, like that benefits men to talk about masculinity and femininity and
That really does,
all that kind of stuff.
because
Like the men's suicide
that's
rate would go down if we did that.
I think there is a natural amount of masculinity that a man doesn't need or requires, but that he has, but it doesn't make him lesser if he doesn't have it. I see a lot of more people live fruitful lives, just being less masculine.
That's the main point I was trying to say, is like when you're talking about toxic masculinity, and then you hear like men's rights people talk about men are told to not share their feelings and to stay inside and not like keep all the pain inside, and that's why they kill themselves more or die by suicide. And it's like you realize you're critiquing what feminists would call toxic masculinity at that point, right?
Right.
Like you're
Right.
critiquing the exact point that real feminists do focus on. The radical misandrists are not feminists, but they overtook what people view as feminists, because the right wing wants people to think every feminist is a misandrist that hates men. The right wing purposely does that, though. And Charlie Kirk is about it, yeah.
Growing up, I felt like this whole wave, and I think that also ties in on how Trump won the two presidencies. Like, it
Yeah, I
has
agree.
to be tied in, without a doubt, because you see this big movement against anti-feminism, because there was no pushback to it. Now, I want to hear your thoughts about, like, if you don't mind, about transgender and all these other topics. Do you think they overlap or they overtake the more important points of, for example, like we were talking about the border, foreign policies. I mean, I think there's a long line of other points that should be made before transgender rights or all these other things should be addressed. Not saying they're insignificant, but considering how low in the population they are, I don't know why Democrats put them at the forefront of their talking points. I think abortion is way more important than transgender rights, but you see that in the right, and they keep dying on this hill on the left, and it just really hurts.
Well, the
to
left
see it
doesn't
because-
really want to die on the hill. The issue is that Republicans propagandize it. Republicans talk about trans people far
True.
more than any other group does. If you look on social media,
right.
Republicans post about trans issues 50 times
Yeah.
more, literally 50 times more than Democrats do. So they purposely bring it up because they know it's a sore point they can message on. Then Democrats need to defend trans issues all the time because Republicans are forcing them to talk about trans issues 24/7. Republicans are obsessed with social issues even more. Like the worst anti-SJW is far worse than the original SJW social justice warriors.
Mhm. Sorry,
Um,
the ambulance number.
You're good. That's what all cities sound like 24/7. All cities are completely dangerous. Even non-dangerous. But yeah, you have a final question or anything there, Don?
I do. What would you say to anybody who's here undocumented and they've been here since they were like around the age of 1, and they can't either enter the DACA program or even have any type of you could say avenue for it? Because I know by a friend, for example, he was here from the age of 1, and when he was 16, unfortunately, he could not enter DACA. So now he's at this crossroads where he's working. He's already he had a 3.1 GPA. He couldn't get into college because he didn't have enough money, since the universities at that time, they had federal scholarships. So you need a social security number to apply for a federal scholarship. And so unfortunately, he's stuck at this crossroads for the last 8 years now. It seems like, well, not 6 to 8 years, you could say, where he doesn't know what to do, because if you go back and you ask for pardon, you have to wait at least 10 years if you go back. And even if asking for pardon here, it's a long process. And now that Trump is firing all these people, federal workers, this crusade that he has against his own, I don't understand, against his own government, I guess. I don't understand this ridiculous narrative that people are pushing, but it takes even longer for whatever process. And he can get married and things like that, but even then, that's like a bailout. And sure, he should just use whatever tools he had at his disposal to help him in this, I guess, predicament. But at the same time, what could you say to those people that are just stuck in that process? And even Republicans say, even Trump himself, like, he's like, these people, they can't even go back to their country, and they don't even know the language. So he hasn't even addressed that for the longest here, and he ran on it as well. And you have all these immigrants that voted for him, and now he's easily turned their backs on him. What could you say to those people? Like, what is their best avenue? To just go back to their country, or?
I have no idea. Maybe see if there's another country that's an option if you can't go back if you've never been in the country because you were born in America or you came as a kid.
It's a sticky
I don't know what to
situation,
say.
isn't it?
It's really bad. Especially because and that's why it's so the push right now is very antithetical to a lot of moral systems. Pretty much every moral system would not agree with how we're doing anything. I don't know the proper legal routes to follow, but I guess you could try to find immigration lawyers, and hopefully they're probably booked right now. But yeah, if you're in that situation, it sucks.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I've been watching you for a while, and you come off very direct and sometimes I watch the Majority Report, and they don't say things directly. They kind of like throw in some, I don't know, some like personal shots, but you always keep it towards near the facts and just stating the outliers. I mean, stating the actual, just blatant truths right in front of it, not trying to go outside the outliers. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. I mean, I do make fun of people, but that's another thing. Oh yeah, thank you for
that's more of
calling me.
That's more for a comedic standpoint, though. Like, you have to be entertaining to be doing this.
If I give up on someone, I'll definitely just start yelling at them, or just call them something stupid because they just get too painful to talk to. But yeah, I appreciate that.
No, thank you so much. You have a good rest of your night.
All right, thank you too. Have a good one. This guy said, "Bro, you're weak." Straight to the ad hominem. LOL. If someone says ad hominem to me in a conversation, I feel like I just don't like them. Imagine being such a dork that you use the word ad hominem when someone says something mean to you in a sentence, in a debate or in a conversation. Like, bro, chill. You're not in debate class. Talk to me like you're a person. I don't want to. If you're gonna cringe, very cringe, outright cringe. Like, why? You don't gotta do that, bro. Why you gotta be so cringe? Shaking my head. Weirdo. Nice. What am I doing? Okay. Ad hominem. You're an ad hominem. Yeah, I know that's what an ad hominem is, but I hate when people say dumb, when they call out fallacies in conversations. I don't want to talk to them. It's just stupid. I'm not reading debate terms so I can talk to dorks. I'll just talk to non-dorks. It's so crazy how annoying people are. Holy crap. This is a debate stream, but doesn't want debate logic. You don't need to bring up debate logic. If you have a fallacy that someone's doing, you can just tell them why they're wrong. You're using ad homs. It's like, oh, you're announcing to the viewers that I said something mean to you. Do you want to talk about how I said something mean to you more? Like, oh my god, bro. The autism in the water is spreading profusely. Like, holy crap. The autism is out there like a squirt gun, just spilling everywhere. Holy shit. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Thank you, Jeff, for the $20 on there. Shut up. I don't care about what. That's offensive to autism? I'm close. I'm on the spectrum. You could tell. You know. You know. Okay, I need another break. I want to eat some ice cream, I'm not gonna lie. I might take a couple more callers. I'll try. Go to my horizontal stream for a bit. I'm gonna get an ice cream cone and eat an ice cream cone and watch a video. React to a video. Are there any good videos to react to? Okay, guys, I have a shorts stream and a horizontal stream running. Go to the horizontal stream, and we'll talk there. Is there any videos to watch while I eat my ice cream? That's the big question I have. I want tacos. I might go to Taco Bell.